Hi everyone, you're watching The Tattooed Psychic. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it very much. I'm new to doing this, and as most of you know, I'm not a fan of the camera. I prefer doing radio, podcasting, that type of thing, but I'm here and I wanted to make a very quick video because I had this really great, revelation, so to speak. I've been working a lot, as you know, with the reprogramming of the subconscious mind, the cellular work, because I had so much trauma in my life and I wasn't living to my fullest capacity, and I was allowing people in my life who weren't really healthy for me, and allowing myself to just dim myself. Even in my spiritual community, I'll have to dim my light. It's interesting to me when people attack you, right? I was thinking about this and talking to my spirit about this. It's interesting when people attack someone. Like, I've been attacked several times. People, did horrible things to me. But then if you defend yourself, you're the crazy one. Isn't that funny? And I started thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? I don't care if people think I'm crazy. And those people who did that to me should be the ones who look at themselves and not accuse me, because you're actually the brutal one. Right? You're the one inflicting pain into my life, and I'm just defending myself, right? When you inflict pain on someone like me, who's sensitive and all that, I'm going to fight you. And I don't have to fight you physically, but I will defend myself. And I always will, and I have to, because as a little girl, this is where the trauma is so defined, right? As a little girl, when I was being abused and neglected and no one loved me, that was my defense mechanism. I could not fight. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't have the words, I didn't have the understanding and all of that. And as an adult, you don't come at me and try to fuck up my life and throw negative energy at me and expect me to go, oh, okay, power down. I've done that several times and it doesn't work for me. It doesn't have a good result that I like. You know what I mean? So I thought about that and how thick that trauma was. And now when somebody comes at me, I still might say something if it triggers something in me, like, what are you doing? That's foolishness. But honestly, I gotta be honest, you guys, my life now, I don't allow those people in my life. Like, I can't even imagine somebody doing anything to me, because I see it a mile away and I don't even let them in my life. And maybe that's why I'm alone a lot, because I don't trust people. And a lot of people are unhealthy people. And I was an unhealthy person for a very long time. And there are a lot of healthy people, though, too. The healthier you get, the more you realize that there are healthy people walking the earth and you can walk with them, right? But I will say this, and I'm not talking health-wise as far as like physically, that too, but I'm talking trauma. You healed your trauma, you know the definition of success, you know how to be successful, you know what you deserve and what you don't deserve, and how to walk that path, right? And it's not a path of anger and look at me, ego, like, oh, I'm better than you. It's a path of like, no, I know what I'm worth. And I can't associate myself with people who aren't healthy. And who completely, and I see people now and I see them post things and, and they're doing the work, and then I see them in real life and I'm like, I don't know if you're really doing the work. To get healthy, you guys, and take this how you will, it takes a lot of work. It takes a commitment. It's reprogramming. It's commitment every day to stay healthy, successful, and wise, and walk in abundance, and know who's healthy for you. And now, here's where I'm at in life. It's interesting to me how many people come back into my life after they've just disappeared, right? I send them an email, like, we're supposed to do something together, and they don't even respond to the email, right? They just disappear. It's happened to me quite a few times in many aspects of my life. In spiritual work, as a musician, in many aspects, they just disappeared. Like, they can't say no or something. I don't know. And here's where I'm at. And then they come back, right? Months later. This one lady came back, 5 years later, after we had this project we were supposed to do, and she just didn't even show up. And I never heard from her, no explanation, nothing. And then she comes back into my life and then tries to pin it on me, like, she wrote to me and I didn't respond. And then she writes back, well, I guess, I never thought I'd quote a movie, but love means never having to say you're sorry or something like that. And I'm like, well, love also means you don't diss somebody when you have a project going on, or, you know, somebody you've known for years and you call a friend. You don't do that and then just disappear and then expect me to take you back in my life. I don't do that. I just don't respond. Right? I just realized, you know what, if you can walk out on me that quick, why would I want you in my life? You know? I'm at that age. I'm at that era, right? Like, and it's so empowering to me because I know that some people are looking at me like, oh man, she's on fire. She might think she's better than anyone. No, I'm better than anything I've ever been. It has nothing to do with anyone else. I'm not in charge of anyone's life, and neither are you. And when you get to that level, you realize that, and the people who come back into my life and think I'm going to lower myself and say, oh yeah, thanks for disappearing on me and no explanation, and then expecting me to just be like, oh yeah, welcome back into my life so you can do it again. So I can put energy into something and then you just do it again. No, Faye's done with that. That Faye is gone. That's the old self. I'm in the new self. And you can take that however you want. And you're going to see that when you start to change your life. When you start demanding respect in your life. When you start walking around having a big heart. Right? I still have a big heart. But I know my worth now. And for me to be able to say that, it's a very liberating thing. It's a powerful thing for me. I've never said that before. I've said it, okay, maybe I should rephrase that, because I have. There have been many times in my life, in my spiritual career and my human life, that I thought, oh, I did the work because I went to a spiritual seminar or I studied somebody like Matt Kahn and thought, oh, I did it, but I didn't. I had to get into the trauma. And if you have been abused in your life in any way, shape, or form, it is preventing you. Even if it happened 10 years ago, 10 months ago, 40, in my case it was 50 some odd years ago is when my trauma began. You can still heal it, and you can understand that that's what's preventing you. And that is what prevented me from having the healthy, happy life. That trauma allowed me to attract unhealthy partners who didn't give a shit about me, get my feelings, my love, anything. It made me a bitter, angry person. It made me protective of myself, just ready to fight the world because I was so pissed off. And then you get to a point where that doesn't work, and you really try to do your spiritual work, but you're just band-aiding it, right? You go do ayahuasca, you go do this and that, and you just do it for a minute, and then you try manifestation for about 3 days and it doesn't work, so you give up. You try meditation, you think you have to stop thinking, which that's not meditation at all. By the way, you can never fail at meditation. I just want you guys to know that. You can never fail at meditation. But you do all these things and you think that didn't work, so this doesn't work for me. It does work for you. You just have to do it. You have to do it and do it and do it, just like you programmed yourself to feel like shit. The world programmed you, and then you programmed yourself in that mode. You kept yourself there because that's what you were taught. You can reprogram yourself to teach yourself that you are valuable. You deserve good, healthy people in your life. You don't deserve to stay in poverty. You deserve abundance, and it will come to you. You just have to understand the methods, right? And I just want to... I wish I could bottle this up and sell it, and of course I'd be a billionaire and everyone would be happy, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. But that's what I realized, is that I'm seeing this huge shift in my life because, and I do catch myself, you guys, going, man, am I being a bitch? No, because here's why. Women, especially in my generation, if we use our voice or we speak up for ourselves, or we stand up against a guy, on social media or something, we're called a bitch or we're called crazy, right? Because we have a voice. No, I'm not a bitch. I'm just a powerful fucking woman. Powerful. In the sense that my love is so powerful and abundant that when you get in my space, it's like, holy shit, I want that. You know why? Because When people do the work, that's how people react to them. Look at the people that you admire. If you do spiritual work, who are the spiritual teachers you admire? Let's see, give Matt Kahn for an example. You walk into Matt Kahn's space, it's sacred, it's peaceful, it's loving. I've done it many times. He's amazing. And I had the blessing of meeting him in person, one-on-one, with no one around. I ran into him at a hotel I was working at. This is a great story. And then I have to get going. But I love Matt Kahn. He really helped me out in my recovery. A few years ago, I discovered him through a friend. And I started listening to him every day, and he kind of got me on that spiritual path, you know, of like, wow, I am powerful, right? And I told the universe, I put it out into the universe, I want to meet Matt Kahn, but I want to meet him when it's just, you know, in where I can really tell him how he saved my life. I want to be able to look him in the eye and tell him that he saved my life, and then I can move on with my life, because this man needs to know how powerful he is. He probably already knows, but he might not know that someone like me, he saved my life. And so I went to a show of his in Seattle, and I thought, this is my time to tell him. But I tell you what, it was not my time, and I knew it, because there were so many people there, and he had this protective bubble, because he has to when he does his work. I don't blame him. And he's very, you know, in his space to do his work. And so I just said, I love you, Matt Kahn, and he just looked at me and smiled, and that's all I said to him. I didn't even wait in line for the meet and greet. I was like, this isn't the time. Months go by. This is a true story. It's so great. And I kept saying, you know, man, I love that guy. One day I'll meet him, I know, and I'll get to tell him. I'm working at a hotel, and I do the turn down at night at this job, and meaning I go into people's rooms, I leave mints and I put good energy in their room, and slippers and all that. And I see on the roster that Matthew Kahn, and I go, that can't be Matt Kahn, because Matt Kahn lives in Seattle. And so, but something inside of me said, but is it? So I go into the room, I turn down the bed, I put out the slippers and mints, and I open the closet to get the slippers, and I see these little jackets hanging up. And these are jackets that Matt Kahn wears. I watch his videos, and little sweaters and shit, you know. I know this guy. And I'm like, I think it's Matt Kahn. And they weren't big, and he's not a big man. And all of a sudden I hear the toilet flush in the bathroom. I'm like, oh shit, someone's here. I didn't say that, but in my mind. And so I quietly take my cart, and I scoot out the door, and I shut the door quietly so I don't disturb them. Well, all of a sudden I hear the door open, and I hear this little voice go, and he goes, thank you. And I turn around, and it's freaking Matt Kahn. And I said, oh my God. And I started crying instantly. I'm like, oh my God, you're Matt Kahn. And he goes, yes, I am. And I go, no, you're Matt Kahn. You know, it was so silly. And he goes, yes, I really am Matt Kahn. And I said, you don't understand. You saved my life. And he literally leaned up against the wall and said, tell me about it. He was the most loving. I mean, I'm crying thinking about it. I got a picture with him, and it's hanging up in my bedroom, and I love him. And he's one of my favorite spiritual teachers, right? And so think about that. Who do you admire that you want to be around, that inspires you, and you want to walk on their vibration? Start walking on their vibration, even though you might not feel it right away. Start doing it, right? It's a pretty interesting theory and test to check out. Start just walking in a higher vibration, but also understanding that if you want to get real with your trauma and your spiritual gifts, or just have a really healthy life where you're manifesting and all of that, you have got to do the work. You've got to stop putting the band-aids on it and just get in there and go, woo, 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 let's get the trauma. And it ain't pretty. It ain't easy. And it's lonely sometimes. But then you just get to paradise. Like, okay, I get it now. It's something just goes, and the work is like you're just walking it every day now. You're no longer having to do the 5-6 hours like I did of reprogramming every freaking day for 8 months. I don't have to do that anymore. But I do about 2 to 3 hours now, where I'm constantly reprogramming, listening to successful people speak, downloading vibrations, learning science, learning about my body, learning about the cells and the energy it holds, talking to medicine women, talking to healers, figuring it out. All right. I gotta go. Love you all. Thanks for watching The Tattooed Psychic. If you want to reach out to me, readingswithfaye@gmail.com. We don't have to do readings. We can just talk. You can tell me your story. You can be a guest. You can be a reader. You can, use my format to produce, to promote your business. Let's work together. Let's create community. I'm here for you. And remember, success is how you see it. And do not dim your light for anybody. You let that light shine. And pretty soon people will come to that light and go, I want to be a part of that light. And then pretty soon we have a change in the world. It's awesome. Love y'all.